Hi guys, so I've decided to do another video and this is a story time. This is the time that I broke my shoulder in a bus accident while I was leaving school in Jamaica. So in Jamaica, basically there's not like a school bus that the government owns. Well, there wasn't when I was there, but basically, people just use their own private bus and like get it licensed, and that's your school bus. And you choose whatever bus you want to take. So there was like 5 of us when I was going to school, and that was my little crew. And we had our personal bus, like the bus that we take all the time. This bus, I think it was called Angel. Yeah, Angel. That was the name of the bus. Yikes! What a name. Yeah, so one evening, we always, when we leave school, we walk, and we walk as far as we want to, and then the bus, it does like multiple trips, so we walk until like it comes, and whatever trip it does, we choose that time to go on it, and we go home. I used to have to take two transportation, so that's the bus that used to take me into the town, so that I can get another taxi to go home. It was really far. School was really far away. But anyways, one evening, left school and we were walking. And I remember my cousin at the time, she was in a taxi and she stopped the taxi and she was like, come on, I'll take you home, because we lived at the same place during that time. And I was like, no, I want to take the bus. And she's like, why? Come, I'll take you home. And I was like, I don't feel like it. I want to take the bus. I gave her multiple reasons why I wanted to take the bus, but really and truly it was just because I wanted to be with my friends. But anyways, so she left me, and yeah, I took the bus. During those times, I know they can't do it anymore, but during those times when I was going to school, they used to put, like, I could sit in somebody else's lap, or somebody could sit in my lap. If we get caught by the police, by the way, they'd be in huge trouble. But they used to do it anyways. That evening, they wanted to put me in my friend's lap, but she didn't want me to sit in her lap. She wanted to sit in my lap. But anyways, I didn't care, so she sat in my lap. And we were sitting right at the window. Anyways, the bus was packed. We were packed like sardines that day. It was overfull. And yeah, we got on, the bus left. About 15 or 20 minutes into the drive, we got to this really, really deep corner. And all I remember was I heard this loud noise, and the bus just went over, and I just heard this crash, like this loud bang, and that was when the bus hit the road. And I remember I just heard screaming. I don't even know if I was screaming. It just felt like a dream. It felt like I can't explain it. It was like I wasn't even there, but I could hear everything that was happening, and I didn't know what I was doing. It's crazy. I don't know how to explain that. But I heard screaming, I heard crying, but I don't know if I was screaming and I don't know if I was crying. It was kind of like a daze. It's really weird. I can't explain that. And I remember I looked down, right, because the bus went over right where I was sitting. So basically we hit the ground, the road. And I remember I looked down and all I saw was the window cracking up. Like, because when we hit, we were still sliding because we were going pretty fast, I'm sure. It went over, it hit, and then it just kept sliding. And I remember looking down and all the window and everything was just cracking up. And I remember, like, I just passed out. I don't remember anything after that, like, gone. When I woke up and they were taking the kids out of the bus. And my friend, she was already out because she wasn't in my lap anymore, but I had a friend that was sitting beside me, and she was quite bigger than I was. So she was on top of me, and I remember I just woke up and I shift and I heard a crack. And I was like, uh-oh. Then they pulled her out after a while. And then I remember getting up and standing up, and they pulled me out. After they pulled me out, and I jumped down, they took me down off of the bus because we were already obviously standing on the side of the bus now. So they took me down. When I looked around, I was just seeing like kids just crying and screaming, and it still felt like I was dreaming. I couldn't believe that just happened. And we were basically on a main road, so there was cars passing and everything, but I remember I just walked across the street. Like, God helped me that day, because I just walked straight across the street. I didn't think, I didn't look, I just wasn't thinking, and I just like walked straight across. I guess obviously the car stopped because of the accident. And when I went across the street, I saw the driver, and he was just like, "Are you okay?" Because at the time we were friends. He wasn't like an old guy, he was a young guy. And he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I went to stand beside one of my friend, and I was asking her, "Are you okay?" And I don't remember what she said. I don't know. I was just like dreaming. It was just crazy. And I remember that my hair was obviously a mess, like, because when I came out, it was all like messy and stuff, and I just felt like everything falling. So I like went to put it up in a bun, like, and I lift my hand, and I just heard this crack again, and I was like, and I just stuck, because then I realized that my shoulder made that noise, and then all of a sudden I couldn't move it. So I turned to my friend, and I was like, "My shoulder's broken." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "I think my shoulder's broken." And she's like, "Oh no." And I took my time, and I tried to bring it back down, and it hurt like hell. And I brought it back down, and I was just like, "All right, that's it. I can't move it anymore because it's broken." I remember, it's still so emotional. It's so crazy. I remember this other bus that was going back to get more kids. It stopped, and it was like, "Okay, I'll bring you all I bring everybody that needs to go to the hospital. Come on, and let's go." Because in Jamaica, honey, while I was there, if you're waiting on the ambulance, you're probably like screwed. So yeah, people would take people to the hospital because we don't have like that good of, like, the system's not that great where you can get like an ambulance like here in America. So yeah, the bus driver was just like, "Come on, anybody that needs to go to the hospital can come, and I'll take you guys to the hospital." I went on because I thought I definitely need to go to the hospital here. So he took us to the hospital. When I got there, I don't even remember, like, throughout the entire thing, it felt like a dream. I just couldn't believe that just happened to me. To backtrack a little bit, when we came out of the bus, I remember that this red van, it saw the guy that was driving it saw the accident. He saw what had happened, and he saw that we were sliding, and he drove up in front of the bus and stopped it, so the bus hit his van. If he didn't do that, we would end up in a swamp. So we would have basically died. I would have died because I would obviously be in the bottom of the bus. So I would drown before they can get me out. And I remember looking at that, and I was like, wow, like, I probably, if he wasn't there at that time, which was the perfect time, I probably would have died. Oh, crazy. Baby's still sleeping. So, yeah, so when we got to the hospital, they treated me. They told me that yes, I had a broken shoulder, and I remember they wrapped it up because I couldn't get a cast because it was right here. So they wrapped it up and they were like, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, which is at primary care. So I remember while I was at the hospital, I saw the driver and he was really badly bruised and he was bleeding and he was hit really bad. My friends, I don't remember if I even saw any of them really at the hospital. I did, but not all of them because they were also getting treated for whatever they got. The girl that was sitting on my lap, her entire skin off of her arm was gone because when the bus hit the road and the glass and everything, it scraped off the skin off her arm and it was really bad. So in some kind of way I was kind of thankful that she didn't want me to sit in her lap, but I was really sad that that had happened to her. Another friend, her entire like 5 fingers on one of her hand was broken. That was because when the bus went over, she held on to the rail that was at the window, and when it hit the road and was sliding, like it broke either all 5 or all 4 of her fingers. She never went back straight. They're all like this now. I think they're still that way because that's how they did the surgery so that she could write again, so they had to keep it like that. Some people cut their ears, lost piece of their ears. Like, it was really bad. It was really bad. I was actually really thankful that I only had a broken shoulder because it could have been much worse. Like, the bone right here was completely, like, broken. They wrapped it because I couldn't get a cast. So I had to wear this wrap that they use for, like, a sprain leg or something, and they just wrapped it around, and for a long time I couldn't even give myself a shower. So my cousin that told me to come into the taxi that day, she was the one that had to give me a shower for a really long time. I couldn't use my arm. It was my right arm. I had to stop from school for a long time because I couldn't write. Wow, really bad, really, really bad. Yeah, it never really healed because it just healed the way it healed, and I guess it didn't heal properly, so it still hurts until this day. Especially when the time's cold, or like just random times. Sometimes maybe if I sleep on it too long or something like that, it'll hurt. Yeah, so I'm still suffering with it, but I think the option is to break it again and fix it back. But I would never do that, so I just leave it. But yeah, so that's my story. That's the time I broke my shoulder and probably almost died in a bus accident in Jamaica. Very hard time. It took me a while to get over it, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.